Hey friends, it is finally time for me to give you an update on my worm farm. I gave it a little rinse. There's a lot of pollen right now, so I haven't touched it. I don't know what it looks like today. We're gonna do this together. It's been 2 full months. This is gonna be the first time that I'm going to harvest the castings. So I'm gonna show you how I do that. Then I'm gonna show you how I turn it and add new food. And in the end, I'm gonna show you where I'm gonna add all the castings. If you haven't checked out my first video, I'll link it here so you can catch up and figure out what I'm gonna do to make sure that I keep my soil very healthy for my plants. This is my worm cafe. This is what it's called, but basically it is for worm farming, and it's from Tumbleweed. This is a fancy system, if you want to call it that. You can also look into other YouTube videos on how to create this system similarly with containers. You can actually do that, and it's pretty neat. But this one has a lot of cool features. Oh goodness, I didn't know I had all that. But like I said, I haven't opened it or turned it. This is the time where we're gonna take care of all this. I will say, this is the tool that I use. It's actually not that sharp at the tip, and right now I'm going to use some gloves. I'm still not too comfortable touching them. I still get a little squeamish. So gloves are going to have to do for now. Wanted to bring you up close because if you notice, those little circles there are eggs. So I wanted you to see that the worms do multiply very quickly, and each one of those eggs will carry about 5 to 8 extra worms. It's always humid here, so it doesn't surprise me that it looks a little bit moldy up on top, and actually that's quite normal. One thing you have to watch out for is the smell. If it starts to smell, that means you haven't turned it. I normally turn it 2 to maybe 3 times a week, and it does not have any smell at all. It actually smells really good. I'm going to lift it just so that you can see how things look right underneath. They are eating everything pretty quickly. And then one thing I do like about this cafe is that you can actually hang this blanket. And if you don't know, this is a blanket, and it's a really good idea to have some type of blanket over here because it does dry, and you need to maintain that moisture up on top, and it keeps them covered, insulated from the heat or from the cold. There are so many eggs right here. I love looking at this. I really do. Let's give it a quick turn to see how things are going inside. There's still plenty of food in here. This one's not ready to fully be used as castings, but we still need to give it a turn because I haven't done that. This one is a large container or containers. It is a little bit heavy. I will show you what I mean. I don't work out. I just do my garden area, and it's a little heavy for me, but it's not anything I can't do. But if you do struggle, I just wanted to show you what that is. You might want to benefit from the smaller one. I have a large family. Well, actually we're a family of 5, but we eat a lot of fruit. So we have a lot of scraps. I'll show you that too. So this was convenient for me, as well as having a large vegetable garden to use the castings for. So I'm okay with it. It actually helps me work out. I think this one is perfect for us. I actually am considering purchasing another one pretty soon, at least sometime this year. I'm gonna work my way from the bottom up and move the trays accordingly. I want the worms to feed off of this area first and then move up to the top. This is gonna have the newest food. So hopefully this area is full of castings that I can take now, and then we'll replace this one up on top. Now it's time to see me struggle. But it's all love. I love it. I didn't think that through really well. Let's try this again. I need this. It's a little heavy. I haven't figured out the best way to do that, but there's always worms underneath it and so many worm castings that I don't want to just leave on the floor, and I want to protect my red wrigglers. Hurts my fingers a little bit, but it's okay. It's just for a little bit. Let me show you what it looks like. This is the black gold that you want. Look at all these castings. And there's more on the other layer, but this is the one that has all of the castings. Isn't it beautiful? It looks gorgeous to me. Worms hate the sun, so I'm gonna go ahead and flip it a little bit so they can go to the bottom and they're not in the castings, and I'm going to harvest. But before I do that, I don't want them to come to the bottom. This is the reservoir. There's nothing there other than the liquid that's coming out of here. So I actually want them to come over to one of these bins, and the only way to do that is to put this on top and then move it up a little bit, and then they'll start crawling down to the second bin. This is what the reservoir looks like. There's only a couple worms here. You do want to check this often because the castings do get in this area and it does clog it, and then this will fill with the water and these worms will drown. So you want to make sure that you check it and also clean it often, because it starts smelling pretty bad if it does get clogged in there. So now it's time to disturb any of the worms that are in here so we can use some of these castings. And there's plenty of them, and they will go down there pretty quickly. So little by little. So if I grab this, I'll probably see a lot of worms. Yeah, see, there's a bunch. So I just get them exposed to the sun, and they'll start going down really quickly. See, you don't see them anymore. They are fast. This entire container looks gross. My bucket of poop. This is a lot. I'm so excited. Now, I used a lot of my shredder paper before I realized that I shouldn't put the plastic envelopes inside. Yeah, there's a lot of plastic in here that I have to remove, so that is a big lesson learned. It is very time consuming to go through this and pull out all the plastics. But you know, I didn't do it on the next batch, so I know it's only going to be the first one. It is completely empty. I left a couple things that still need to stay in there for a little bit longer. And some of these worms I just moved from here because I really want to clean this before I put new stuff in here. Now we have one more tray to look at and see if we can harvest some more. The empty one is going to be for the new stuff. I moved the one with all of the leftover food here, and this one was the one in the middle that has a lot more castings. So I'm gonna go ahead and harvest these and show you how much it is. Y'all see this? I kind of got it flickered close to my eye, close to my mouth. Ugh. It sort of feels like making a hamburger patty. My worms are incredible. Look! This is like 3 gallons worth of worm castings. 2 months. Totally worth it. Those 2 containers were completely full. Now that these 2 trays are empty, they'll still need some time. We're gonna add all the new stuff. And here it is. Doesn't this look pretty? There's so many things in here. The best time to get your scraps is when you're going to go groceries and you're cleaning out your fridge. Perfect timing. Or when trash is gonna come and you need to empty your fridge out. This is what this is. This is some cardboard. Now see how wet this is? You don't need to add water when you have all this juice in there. And now that we added our veggies, we are going to add in the carbon. But stuff like this that had mildew already, all this broccoli was bad. I have so many scraps. So now we're going to add the paper. I know this time I didn't put no plastic in here. Straight from the bin. We're gonna add quite a few. That looks good. It's about 3 handfuls. I'm gonna give it a good mix and see what it looks like. So with these containers, you want to make sure to stay underneath this because this is where the next tray sits. So you don't want to go past that. The only one that you want to fill up a little bit more is the last tray because you're not going to use these edges here. That looks perfect. We're gonna add the blanket on top of this one because they're gonna come eat here and you don't want that extra air in here. We're gonna give the blanket just a quick rinse because it is a little dry and I didn't want it to be too dry because the worms do come up here and they hang out on the blanket. Now it's time for me to show you how I'm going to apply it in the garden beds. A little goes a long way. Another idea is to let it dry out a little bit so it's easier to sprinkle, but you can completely put it on fresh like this. So I'm just gonna move this back, put just a little bit of crumbles in there, and that's it. Move this right back in. So I've got to add it to all my garden. If you haven't seen it yet, check out the latest tour just to see how things are going so far. I'm also going to be adding it to my orchard and anything else that I can add it to, because you can even do it to your indoor plants. Well, don't forget to check out Tumbleweed. I will put a link below where you can find the worm cafe that I have, or at least give you a head start to see what works out for you. And if that doesn't work out for you, use containers. I highly recommend you investing in some red wigglers. Those are the ones that you need for your garden bed, and I hope that you like this. Comment below if you're interested in getting one, or if you already have one and you're harvesting some castings. I would love to hear from you. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe, because I love to share all of this with you. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.